What is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Camper Report. I'm videoing this in technically the morning, very late at night, I guess you could call it, though. The 49ers Buccaneers game wrapped up technically uh, yesterday, and you guys will probably be seeing this early in the morning when you wake up. But 49ers versus Buccaneers. Let's break down this performance by the 49ers. What a game for Brock Purdy. What a game for the 49ers defense. Bend, not break defense. Just what a game. Again, we're going to go 7-8 minutes talking about this one. Tuesday night, we'll probably have another live show talking more in depth about it. So let's talk about Brock Purdy's performance. This guy was electric. This guy had, I believe it was a 158.3 QB rating, which is perfect. Perfect QB rating. First time that a 49ers quarterback has had that high of a QB rating since Joe Montana did it, I believe, back in 1980 something. I saw that stat. Can't really remember the date, but it's been a long time since a 49ers quarterback has done that. Really in this game, he was incredible. You know, the Buccaneers started off playing very man-to-man coverage. They were not going to allow a lot of short throws, really anything inside 5 yards, they were not going to allow Brock Purdy to make. And they started off this game only rushing 4. And Brock Purdy said, okay, I know that you guys don't have good enough of a pass rush on the edge to get to me. So I'm just going to stand back and be a pocket passer and shred you guys 15. A lot of times in that first half, you saw a lot of 15-yard crossing routes that were hit. So, first half just gashed the Bucs defense and was aggressive too. The 49ers are not afraid. We're not afraid in this game, especially in the first half, to take a few shots downfield. Again, I believe it was early. It was the first quarter. I could go back to it. I believe it was, yeah. I believe it was first quarter. Brock Purdy, 30 yards down the field, tried to get it to Aiyuk, and it was actually a really well thrown ball. I think it was a go route by Aiyuk, really well thrown ball. And yes, it was not completed, but it ended up being a flag on the Buccaneers defender, and that flag went for 30 yards, and it was a 30-yard gain because of that. So another thing I saw, every single game, 49ers fans, analysts in general are saying, yeah, he didn't have an interception, but he had interception-worthy plays. I did not see this in that game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I did not see interception-worthy plays in this game. The second half, the Bucs were bringing a little bit more blitzes, but again, what's kind of weird is the Bucs were the third highest team blitzing this year. Third highest in blitzes they have a 40% blitz rate. So 40% of offensive snaps, the Bucs are blitzing. They didn't blitz a ton, especially in the first half. They did not really, even general this game, blitz a ton. I could look at the exact numbers, but they did really not. And they said, we're going to drop back in 7. We're going to take away all the short throws. We're going to play man-to-man, 7 guys in coverage, and we're going to let you drop back Brock Purdy, and you're going to have to dice us up. And that's exactly what Brock Purdy did. And this defense, this Buccaneers defense, is pretty good. Their linebacker core is one of the best in the league. And their run, one thing I will say about their run defense is it's as advertised. CMC only had 3.7 yards per carry this game, so he didn't even do that well. So this was, I saw Grant Cohn saying it wasn't a great Buccaneers defense. I'd say it's actually a pretty good Buccaneers defense statistically. They have one of the best run defenses in the league. They have some of the best corners in the league, some of the best linebackers. The only thing that really showed in this game is the Buccaneers cannot generate pressure with just 4 guys. That's their biggest weakness, is their pass rush with just 4 guys. Now, the middle of their defensive line is very good. Vita Vea destroyed Feliciano. I remember on one play, I believe it was, I want to say it was like mid-second quarter, I was watching, and Vita Vea literally put Feliciano on his ass. Just pushed him, shoved him down on his ass. And I mean, that's another note that I had was I am terrified to see the 49ers play very good interior defensive linemen. One of those guys is going to be next week, Quinnen Williams for the Seahawks. And then the next week, the 49ers play Jalen Carter, I believe, for the Eagles. So both of those guys are very, or maybe it's Leonard Williams. I don't know. Whoever they traded for, whoever the Seahawks traded for with the Giants, he was an interior defensive lineman. It's either Quinnen Williams or Leonard Williams. But anyways, the 49ers now for 2 weeks are going to be playing a very good interior pass rusher and just interior defensive linemen in general. And they did not, the one weakness I still see on their offensive line is they did not do good against the Vita Vea in this game, pass rush or run blocking. So this to me shows that we really need Aaron Banks back because Feliciano in this game did not look good. But yeah, Purdy performance was great. Let's move on. Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk in this game looked like one of the best route runners and really is starting to establish himself as one of the best route runners in the league. Not necessarily super speedy, but can be at times. He is like surprising speed, and he matches that speed with insane footwork and just his ability to just, he's a very fluid and just natural footwork. And I mean, he makes a crossing route look so effortless. And again, he has 800, I believe it's 831 yards on the season in 9 games. So he's averaging about, I don't know, 90 yards per game receiving. And so he's on track easily to get over 1,000 yards, even more. I mean, he is a Pro Bowl receiver. The 49ers need to get him paid because this guy made such an impact. Obviously had, I believe it was 150 yards, 5 catches, 1 TD in this game. So Aiyuk was huge in this game. Another one that I was a little surprised was 49ers got Elijah Mitchell involved early in this game, which they usually never get Elijah Mitchell involved early, but they got him involved a little bit early, 4 carries within the first few drives, and then he just disappeared for the rest of the game. And the 49ers said, Brock Purdy, here's the reins. We're going to throw you a bunch of times. And they ran Christian McCaffrey 21 times, but Christian McCaffrey really didn't make a difference in the run game this game. It was really all Brock Purdy's arm, pretty much. Not a lot of the run game, which is encouraging to me because I think it shows that the 49ers are so dangerous, right? Because when a team wants to sit back and play 7-man coverage, the 49ers can dice them up. When a team wants to blitz, the 49ers can do quick throws and dice them up that way. When a team wants to commit more to the pass game, the 49ers can run the ball with CMCs. So they are so dangerous. That's what this game really taught to me. Defensive side of the ball. Big loss. I'll try to get out of your guys' hair, but there's a lot to unpack in this game. Again, I'll probably be going live on Tuesday to break it down more. I want to get a guest on. We'll see about that. But defensively, we lost Talanoa Hufanga most likely to a season-ending ACL injury, which is tough because he's been pretty healthy. I know he was dealing with some injuries last year, but for the most part, he's been pretty healthy for the 3 years that he's been in the league and was an all-pro safety last year. But even though he played a huge part in this defense, I think Jair Brown is a great replacement. 3rd-round pick out of Penn State that we had this year. He was our first pick. We traded up to get him. And I can go back to my notes real quick on this one. Basically, I know that as soon as Talanoa Hufanga went out, Jair Brown did give up a big, I want to say, I'm looking at it. I know that Jair Brown gave up a big play to, I'm not sure what minute it was. I want to say it was end of the 3rd quarter. Jair Brown comes in for replacing Hufanga at strong safety. And immediately the Bucs go after him, and he did have a blown coverage on that drive. But, and every 49ers fan, including me watching that game, was like, oh no, this is going to be a disaster. But he turns around after that drive and intercepts Baker Mayfield, makes an amazing grab where he just swipes it off of the ground, Jair Brown, in the red zone. Again, the 49ers down 27 so up 27-13. The Bucs are driving. They're at the 9-yard line. It gets tipped off of Dre Greenlaw's helmet, and Jair Brown picks it off. Amazing catch. On the play previous, it was a 2nd and 6. There's a blown coverage. It's on the 9-yard line, like I just said. On the play previous to that interception, it's on the 9-yard line, and he breaks up a pass intended for Mike Evans. Jair Brown breaks up that pass. And then obviously, like I said, the very next play, he gets an interception. So he had that one bad play where he gave up like a 30-yard bomb down the field, but then he turns around and he rewards us with 2 amazing plays. So I'm actually not worried too much. I mean, Hufanga is going to be a decent loss, but I think the playmaking ability of Jair Brown is going to really help this team a lot. And as he showed at the end of this game, he does have coverage skills. I'm going to try to go fast on these next ones. I don't have too much left to go. Interior pressure. I said earlier in the week, if you guys watched my breakdown video that came out Saturday night, I said that the Buccaneers interior offensive linemen, some of the worst in the league, their interior offensive linemen. I said, if the 49ers are going to get pressure, it's going to be from the interior. And that's exactly what they did. Javon Hargrave didn't get a sack in this game, I don't believe, but he was very, very instrumental in this game, as well as Eric Armstead, who did have a sack and was constantly getting pressure up the middle. And what really benefited is every time those interior defensive linemen would get pressure up the middle, the quarterback would scramble out to the outside and Nick Bosa or Chase Young would finish him off. Both of those guys had a sack in this game. So interior pressure was key. Fred Warner, one thing that I saw a little bit in this game that I've never seen before, Fred Warner was almost like on some plays spying the quarterback and was like not going out in coverage, but just like containing the quarterback. Was just, they would hike the ball and he'd stay at the line of scrimmage and just wait there for Baker Mayfield to escape. So you saw a lot of that. You'd see like a 4-man 49ers front with Fred Warner in the middle and him just standing there, kind of not really pressuring, not really covering, but just containing Baker Mayfield and spying Baker Mayfield. And another thing, which I've never seen with D'Amico Ryans, but it's become more of a thing with our new defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks. 5-man fronts. We saw a lot in this game where sometimes you'd see 3 defensive ends, 2 defensive tackles, or 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker. So a lot more 5-man fronts on the defensive line. Another thing that I will say is when Hufanga, at first, when he went out, the 49ers got a lot less aggressive. The whole game on defense, they were playing press man-to-man coverage, and they knew that their defensive line was going to get home, and they knew that their cornerbacks were going to hold up in coverage long enough to where the 49ers would get the sack. So they were playing a lot aggressive. They'd play right up on the Bucs receivers. Instead, when Hufanga went out end of the third quarter, you saw a lot more padded coverage, what we were used to seeing more the first 7 games of the year, a lot more padded coverage, and just allowing the Bucs to kind of get those short throws and allowing the Bucs to go down the field methodically instead of trying to allow the Bucs to get big plays. They were just allowing the Bucs to kind of hit those short throws and get down the field methodically. And I think that was a big reason because they didn't really trust their safety Jair Brown to make the right assignment. So they were playing a lot more conservative after Hufanga went out. So maybe my question is, do the 49ers go back to playing a very conservative defense now that Hufanga is out? We'll see. Ambry Thomas, this is my third last note. Ambry Thomas is still a problem. He had several blown coverages, whether it was in zone or man-to-man. I know that Mike Evans, I believe it was at the 1-yard line, press man-to-man coverage, and Evans runs a quick slant route. Baker Mayfield throws it to him, touchdown, Buccaneers. On that play, I believe it was mid-third. Ambry Thomas breaks, just not a good job on coverage, not great in man-to-man. I will say that he had a few nice breakups in this game. He is better in man-to-man coverage, but he seems sometimes to get lost in zone coverage. So Ambry Thomas is still a problem. Demmodore Lenoir, cornerback, so underrated. I mean, early in this game, I think it was the Buccaneers' first drive where they had a 3 and out. The Buccaneers actually didn't have a first down till end of the first quarter. But when the Buccaneers, their first drive, when they had a 3 and out, Lenoir broke up this deep out route to Mike Evans, and Lenoir undercut the deep out route, undercut it, and was in the right place at the right time, broke up the pass. Really nice pass breakup by Lenoir. Just really good play. And he had a few really nice tackles, stops. I mean, from what I can remember, he only gave up man-to-man in man-to-man coverage. I mean, I don't even know if he gave up many catches. Charvarius Ward gave up more catches than him. And I mean, they both were covering hard receivers, Godwin and Mike Evans. So Lenoir, underrated piece of this defense, and really instrumental in this defense's success this year. So what would I grade the 49ers for this game? Again, in my book, B is an average grade. I'm going to give them a B+. I still think that the secondary is a little bit of a question. I'm going to say that Brock Purdy had a great performance, but the interior offensive line was still a concern, and that is Aaron Banks needs to come back. So I'm going to say B+. I know it's a little bit down on them, but there was a ton of good things, but also two really concerns that I still have for this team. So guys, go have a good rest of your morning. I guess I'm videoing this in the evening. Go have a good rest of your morning. I'll be back hopefully later on this week to break down more of the game, more in depth, take your guys' questions. And real quick, let me tell you about StreamYard. StreamYard is the streaming platform that I am doing this video on right now. It's if any content creators, if you guys want to start content creation and do live streams, StreamYard is the greatest, well, just the best streaming platform that I have ever used. Check it out. The link to, if you use my link in the description, you'll get $10 off of your first purchase on their monthly plan for StreamYard. So go check that out. It's a great streaming platform, and it's really good for beginning people. It's not very complicated. So go have a good rest of your night. Go Niners. Niners get a big win.